On the crux of the hill, looming over the entire continent, is the strange city of Mezro. None know what lay within, but it has a storied history. Previously, many things have happened here. Soon you will discover some of them. But first, a little history about the place which you are soon to attend. The god Uptal raised Mezro from the jungle with his own bare hand. It was his greatest gift to his people, a city etched from glass and stone, where his priests could guide the common folk through the maze of life. At Mezro's heart stood a temple of Uptal, a magnificent tower of crystal and gold that always presented the same face no matter where in the city one stood. From here, Uptal sat in judgment on a platinum throne. 7 of his chosen, known as Briar, were granted miraculous powers and tasked with running the city. Under their stewardship, Mezro's wisdom spread throughout the jungle tribes, and the holy city became a site of pilgrimage. Mezro enjoyed for 4,000 years. Its glory rivaled even the greatest city to the north, for while Mezro was smaller in size than its coast and northern cousins, its libraries held the accumulating knowledge of 4 millennia. Of course, the city had its fair share of cut purses and tricksters, and merchants grew fat on the pilgrim's coin. Worse in the muddle of the city life, the Mezroans came to see Uptel not as their shepherd, but instead as their remedy for earthly misfortunes. Enraged by their trivial pleas, Uptel returned to the sky and refused to speak to his followers, until they completed their journeys through the maze of life. He has never returned. Guardianship of Mezro fell to Uptel's Briar, who are only souls believed to be blessed with divine power. With Uptel gone, the Briar were believed to have cast a spell, hiding the city from outsiders. Since then, none have attempted. It was during this time that a terrible tragedy befell Mezro. Razneezy, one of the 7 Briar that Uptel first ordained, the sworn protector of Mezro, he was granted the power to reanimate the corpses of any living that died upon Shalt. When civil war divided his country, Razneezy swore vengeance on the routed Eshwal tribe and used his powers to annihilate them. This single act of genocide forced the remaining Briar to banish him from their holy city, branded on their forehead with a blue triangle of Mezro. Razneezy was sent into the jungle and told never to return. Ever loyal to Uptal, Razneezy used his powers to raise an undead horde, marking each thrall with the symbol of the exile he now adopted as his own. With an army under his control, he waited patiently for the next chance to save Mezro and redeem himself to his people. That chance came in 3063 DR, when Caravan Ebonhand of the Cult of the Frost penetrated Mezro's magical protections and led an army of Batiri goblins against the city. Razneezy's forces acted swiftly and played a pivotal role in saving Mezro from oblivion. Following the attack, the surviving Briar chose to lift the magical veil over Mezro, so its citizens could aid their pillaged countrymen. For a few decades, Mezro returned to the world and became a haven for those exploring the jungle. All but Razneezy were granted entry to the lost city. The necromancer returned to the jungle, where he built terrible things and is currently plaguing the lands. As years rolled by, the betrayer gathered the undead forces for a further assault in Mezro. In 1385 DR, the spell plague racked Toril and separated Cholton Miniature from the mainland. Mezro was drowned as the landscape buckled and the river Oolong burst its banks. In a single stroke, 4,000 years of history were obliterated. Robbed of his powers by Mezro's destruction, Razneezy fled into the jungle, leaving his undead army to roam unfettered across Cholt. Many of his thralls shambled into the flooded ruins of Mezro, making the site even more dangerous to explore. In time, rumours spread of the priceless treasures buried inside. Once again, Mezro had become a lost city of legend. Yet all was not as it seemed, for Mezro hides many secrets known to but a few. The husk of Mezro left behind was smashed asunder, leaving no clues of hidden bones. In their haste to evacuate, the Briar knew that many citizens would be abandoned in the old world. Foreign envoys, traders on the road, and tribal wizards, relatives visiting friends in the jungle, and more. To aid them, they left riddles in the city's stonework that would guide them to the Mezroans to their sanctuary, and perhaps even allow them to rejoin them. Just like Uptal's maze, only those who knew how to follow the clues would be granted enlightenment. Mezro has lain in a ruin for over a century. The river Oolong has long withdrawn, but much of the city is still flooded or swallowed by the jungle. Explorers have scoured Mezro for treasures, yet even so, the city remains full of mystery and danger. Those who know the ruins agree there are many secrets yet to be unravelled. Mezro was built in the city in the shape of a circle, the four boulevards dividing the city into equal quarters. At the centre, the great temple of Uptal, thrust 10 stories into the sky. The ruins subsided over the years, slumping down into the dark jungle basin. The boulevards became flooded, canals and vines arose to strangle the buildings. The whole site is now unnervingly quiet. Mezro has confounded explorers for decades. Speculation and myths surround the city, making it impossible to piece together the truth about its current plight or true whereabouts. Many believe the ruins aren't even real. Some believe there is gold hidden inside. That being said, many people have taken up residence. There has been a cult dedicated to the crocodile built inside. Flaming Fist mercenaries have taken over, attempting to raid the city of Allplight. A strange order of monks seems silent in the night, yet follows. Perhaps they are the last remaining followers of Uptal that holds the secrets to the city. Perhaps they are just lunatics. None will ever truly know. Your task, however, it may bring you into contact with these individuals, but you have far greater purpose ordained upon you. Uptal is lost, now a gibbering wreck of a man buried and trapped in some hideous place of torture. In renewing some of the shrines, you have soon discovered that he needs power and belief to escape these horrible tragedies. Surely Mezro should be the seat of his reincarnation. The gleaming city, once built by his own hand, must once again become the pinnacle of Uptal's worship. Purge the unbelievers. Bring down the thrall of death upon those who would stand in your way. Bring into the fold those who would aid you, perhaps the Tabaxi, the true inheritors of Uptal's crown. What you do in the city is purely down to you. Your task remains singularly, to remove any extremities and cleanse the city of the blight which it currently inhabits. After this, the task of rebuilding the city is down to you and you alone. You may ask your allies for aid. You may bring forth forces from dark domains and heavenly ascents. But one thing remains. Mezro and Uptal must be restored to their former glory, by any means necessary, for Chult to be saved from Dendar, the Night Serpent, and whatever hideous atrocities Raznisi is plotting in the forest with his undead quadre.